And this is him at, this is us in the lobby, in the reception hall for a big event we had in April. It was the Jack Hanna event, so we had a large group of people, and this was different because it was very close quarters. So he wasn't outside like at Riverfest. He was inside, and people were coming up close and taking pictures with him, and it was just a very different setting. So it was cool to see him in 2 different settings, and he was fine in both of them. He did try to bite somebody this day.
Besides that.
So being comfortable with new situation, do anything to this bird, and he'd be like, okay, well, whatever. One example is I was somebody gave me a beach ball. For those of you who are Critter Nation fans, it was GN, and he gave me a beach ball. And I was sitting at my desk one day with Buddy, and I had this beach ball, and it was deflated. And I decided, what would he do if I started blowing up a beach ball in front of him? So I did it, and I did it a little bit at a time, and he just watched me, and it was perfectly fine, and I bounced it. And he was like, he looked at it and tilted away a little bit, but he was fine. He didn't try and fly. He didn't try and bite it. He wasn't afraid, and he eventually settled down and was like, okay, it's just something that's happening, which to me is really impressive because, that's something he's never seen a beach ball before in his life, and he totally just accepted it like it was nothing. But I have some more examples of things that we've done to him. So this is in my boss, Amanda. She has these little streamers that hang down from her light, and one day I was in there and I accidentally walked him into the streamers. And I was talking to her, and I realized, oh my God, his head is in the streamers, he's going to freak out, and he didn't do anything. So then that was something we started to do, is every time we went into Amanda's office, walk him through the streamers, because you never know when something is going to bump into his head, bump into his back, bump into his tail, and he can't be startled or completely alarmed if something touches him. He needs to be fine with that. Where's Debbie? Let me know how I am on time, because
You're almost a 1:45 till 2.
Okay. Okay, so this is him at rounds, and that's just us. We do daily vet rounds with the vet staff and the rehab staff to get updates on all the patients. And there's a group of people, and there's noises, and it's a hospital setting, and he was fine with that. That's no big deal. We introduced Amanda, who's my boss. We introduced her as a third handler just to see how you would accept a new person, and he was fine. And this is the little staff thingy I was talking about that you can rest your arm on. And for the first month or whatever, I used that all the time because it supports your arm, and basically there's no weight. You're just holding your arm on the staff, and it's completely easy. But by this point, I had stopped using it. And I made fun of her endlessly for having to use it. And I was like, oh, you're so weak. And now I think about it, and I'm like, oh my God, I was such a baby. It's 7 pounds. I need to get over that. But it felt like really heavy at first. So he was fine with the new handler. This is me just messing with him. We were doing pictures for his birthday. And he had his wings spread. And Dave was like, what happens if you touch his wing? And I tried it. And I realized it looked sort of like I was wearing... like I had a fan out in front of my face. And again, he was fine. He doesn't care. This is him hanging out with me at my desk. Yes, what we do. Normally I bring him inside, and he sits on a smaller perch by my desk, and I work, and he sits there and looks at his feet. I need a tissue, I'm sorry. Oh, I wish I could. I'm sorry. I bet he would have bad spells. Entering and exiting the crate without difficulty. Again, I told you we were working on this with the new crate. He with his old crate, he was fine. His new crate, we're working on just him getting used to it. Other than that, it's okay. And then perching when and where necessary. So we've perched him in some weird places, because if you're handling a bird and you're somewhere, they should be able to step up somewhere quickly, if you need to adjust something. So if you happen to be near a chair, so the chair on the left is my boss Amanda's chair, and the chair on the right is my other boss Randy's chair. And we just sort of perched him there quickly to see what he would do. And again, he's perfectly fine. He'll do whatever. And falconers perch their birds in weird places. I've seen them perch, just in strange places. So again, we were perching him somewhere. This was just for fun. This was just to see what he would do. This was a running creek, a very slow-moving running creek near the Wildlife Center. We do walks through the woods, which we both really enjoy. He tends to fan his wings out in sun a little bit while we walk, and he gets to perch in some really cool places, like on tree branches, and it's really fun. And we stopped at this place. There's a bridge on the path that I walk with him, and it's pretty narrow, but whenever he sees the bridge, he gets really excited because he gets to perch there. That's where I normally take a break with him and we perch, and he gets really excited when he sees it coming. He starts to like, it's cute, it's over this. I'm sorry? Oh yeah, I mean, I can do this with him.
Like, where'd you
But he's never like free. He's just sitting there. And this was our first. This may have been his first too, but it was our first TV interview together. That was really cool, really exciting. So he made me a little bit famous. It was really cool. I was so mad. Being weighed, he's fine with being weighed. That's him stepping up onto a scale. So what's next? So I'm telling you all this. This is what we've done. This is what we're working on. So what am I working on now? Right now, I've decided to go back to some of our basics and reinforce some of his simpler behaviors, like stepping up in his enclosure. For a while, he was getting excited and it was a little bit difficult stepping up. So all I do is ask, step up, step up, step up. No, no. Step up. Step up. All the way. And perch. So that's all we do. And it's just, I just do that repetitively, and it's fine. I mean, it's something exciting.
Now he wants some out.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
And then exiting his enclosure, we're working on not baiting when we walk out of his enclosure. Doorways are a big thing for a lot of birds when you're working with them. They're scary for some reason. So we're working on doorways, and he's fine with interior doors and walking out. He's fine with doors on buildings, but he freaks out when I walk him out of his enclosure, which is very new. I don't know. So again, I said, like, one day, he decides he forgot everything I've ever taught him, and so that's what he's decided. He's forgotten now. And then we're also continuing to work on not baiting. That's a big problem because he baits a lot. It's not good for, for extended periods. It's not good for, like, walking up and down the aisle. It's fine if he baits a few times.
I'm sorry, what is baiting?
Baiting is whenever they fly off the glove.
Okay.
That was one of the first in that falconry terms list.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. If you don't know any of the words that I'm saying, just please let me know. But baiting is when they fly off the glove, and he does that when I'm walking. It's a big problem. So when I am walking back and forth, normally if I'm standing still, he's fine, but the movement provokes him to fly a little bit. So we're working on not doing that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, would it be possible for you to have to step up one more time so everybody can
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we can take pictures.
Yep.
Take your position.
That's what an eagle sounds like. Step up. My voice is going, so he's probably not very sure, but step up. Step up. Step up. Come on. So this is one thing that we do. We touch the keel. I touch the toes. I touch the legs. Sometimes he bites.
Does it hurt when he bites?
No, not very much. I mean, it bruises, but it's not like.
Just a little love bite.
Make no mistake, you could.
Perch, good boy. Good boy. Yep, so we're just working on walking around and doing things like that. Yeah, so this is an example of me walking through the woods. That's what we do. We just walk, and this is an example of him being really good. That's why I chose that. He's just sitting there.
He's so cute, he looks at his feet.
Yeah, he looks at his feet. He's waiting for me to give him a reward. So that's it. That's buddy training. I hope that was informative, and I hope if you have any questions now, I'm willing to take questions.